So, welcome to all of you, those who have been seeing me on YouTube in this meeting for the last 6 years. You have no choice, the same guy. Some of the terms will repeat for the nth time, but I hope it's a good revision for you and not boring. For those of you who are new, I'm hoping that you will enjoy. At least the morning session was well received. At any point, Govindra Mama, you have joined twice, so make sure that there's no echo. Yeah, that's a camera on top of your head. Now that's fine. I hope you're able to hear me. So first of all, kudos to you for taking time and showing interest in joining. Second, this is a class that is done by me, Vedic Sampradaya, not on behalf of Bhaskara Prakasha Ashram, which I do on Mondays. There will be certain things that will sound common, similar, but not. This is not on behalf of BPA. So the curriculum and the scope is different. Uh, we are going to start with Upanishads, which have been demanded by some people. They've been following up for a couple of years, and Suktams, Vedic Suktams, which also was in demand for quite some time, which I was constantly holding off. So finally, I decided, okay, let us teach all this. And interestingly, is going to continue with a lot of shlokas and other things, many things that will come in handy for you and your future generations. So this is not a batch that's going to wrap up soon. It would encourage and motivate me if you're able to attend regularly, because I try every bit of an attempt to not cancel the class. Whether I'm traveling, whether I'm in a different time zone in the middle of the night, it doesn't matter. I try to conduct the class.
That's off to you, Kumarji, for doing a class at 6 a.m. and then another ending the day with a class at 9 p.m. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, so that in the middle of 4 major events that you all know of, which I don't want to sound on YouTube. But what motivates me is interest shown by people, and what motivates me is, I don't know how many of you watched live stream the event that we had at Ved Mandir. When those two kids were sitting with the Vaidikas and they were chanting, that's a proud moment for me. That's a payback. So I hope this is also useful to all of you. And we are not just going to learn a few mantras and rigs, but we are also going to try and go deeper into the understanding of the system. Because that's what I've been asked to teach. So it's not going to be just roting of some mantras. It'll also be a little bit of lecture like this. Hopefully, it is interesting. I keep customizing it depending on the feedback. Hey, it is too much of sermon. We want to just learn shlokas, or we are on the right track, and so on and so forth. I'll customize it based on the feedback. So without much ado, we will start. Those of you who missed the Vijayadashmi initiation is fine. You didn't miss anything. Just for the sake of starting, I focused on Ganapati Atharvasisham opening. Quick summary of what was talked about on that day, which I intentionally did not record on YouTube, is uh, the meaning behind the first few rigs. What is Bhadram Karne Vishruniyama Devaha? What is it? And I'm sure some of you have heard me say that. Is anyone willing to share what it is?
Simply like not just good and be good. Something like.
No, what is Bhadram Karne Vishruniyama Devaha?
Oh God.
I'm not asking the meaning. I'm not asking the meaning. I'm saying what is it? Why do we start with that?
Shanti Mantra.
Yeah, who said that?
Right.
Govindra Mamawa. Oh, Ram Swami. Right. Okay. Good. So it is a Shanti Mantra. Okay. Why we say that is anything we do in our system, which is the foundation is Sanatana Dharma, we always believe in peace. Peace for us, peace for the world. It is never that you give me peace, I don't care about the rest of the world. Because if the rest of the world is not at peace, you're not going to be at peace. So we are very broad-minded. We every time we do something, we wish for peace. Start with peace, end with peace. In Ashirvadam, it's all about peace. It's all about happiness. So it's always a very positive message. Some people may say, what is the need to do so much of drama? No. Human beings, we need to be reminded of some basics over and over again. It's easy for us to get distracted. So there are quite a few Shanti mantras, and each Vedam has adopted a couple of them. And it may be a redundant piece of information that we have four Vedas. The main is Rig Veda, which has got all the Riks. Riks are those Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya is a Rik. So those Riks are all in part of the Rig Veda. Samaveda picked up a majority of the Rik, added some of its own, forming Samaveda. Same way, Yajurveda picked up a lot of from Rig Veda, added some of its own, and said it is Yajurveda. The fourth one that came a little later is Atharva Veda. Those of you who are Shiva followers, those of you who have been in the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, I have talked a little bit about all of these things. I won't go into too much of detail there, but example is if you chant Purusha Suktam. I'm sure Ramswamy should be able to answer this question. Sahasrasirisha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat. If you are not technically informed, and if the Pradhana Acharya says we are going to follow the Rigvedic way of chanting today, you need to know where to stop. If the Pradhana Acharya says the main method that we'll follow is Yajurveda, you will have to know what to continue with. So, Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharvaveda. The Ganapati Atharvasation that starts with Bhadram Karnebhi is part of Atharvaveda. So the Shanti mantras are from Atharvaveda. So that's one way of finding out the Atharvasation that you're chanting belongs to which Veda. Another way, more technical way, is the Swaras. We'll go into that a little later. And in Yajurveda, there are two variations again, Shukla Yajurveda and Krishna Yajurveda, because Krishna is always seen as black and white in North and South India. We will be learning Krishna Yajurveda, which is predominantly popular in the South. So if you hear Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Bhakshabhiryajatraha, this is Krishna Yajurveda. Same thing. Bhadram Pakshe Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Suštuvagum Sastanubhi Yashema Devahitam Yadayuhu. Arshaji, you must have heard this more than the other one. That is Shukla Yajurveda. It is not that they are chanting it wrong. That is a different swara pattern. Whereas when you hear Rig Veda, it will sound a little different. Agnimile purohitam yajnasya deva mritvijam hotaram ratnadhatamam. Different swarastanas. Come to Samaveda. Ognayi ayahi. Samaveda. The same Rik in Yajurveda will be Agna ayahi vitaye Grinano havyadataye. One sentence, that's it. That in Samaveda, I will take 2 minutes to chant. So this is at the broad level that you need to know. We will go into the details and slowly learn all of these things. Don't panic that, oh, this is too technical, too much for me to learn and understand. So that was the essence of what I spoke on the Vijayadashmi day, for those of you who missed it. And you start with the Shanti Mantra and you end with the Shanti Mantra. If we do a complete Vedic puja, there is also a concept of doing Shanti Mantra Ghosham, Shanti Panchakam, depending on the time. There are Shanno Mitrasyam Varnaha, that mantra you would have heard. Those are all Panchakam. Panchakam means 5. Whereas Shanti Ghosham, that means more than 10, 15 Shanti mantras. All of the Vedikas will chant together. So the significance or concept of peace is centric to our puja and procedures, which is we need to be very proud of that. So it's not just lip service when we say Vasudeva Kutumbakam or Samasto Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. These are all not uh, just for the sake of theory. We actually practice it in our daily lives. So coming to what we are going to do today. Every class we start with something called Dhyana Shloka. I dropped an audio file in the morning. I don't know how many of you got a chance to play it. You can save it in your playlist, Android or iPhone, and keep listening to it. It's a good thing to hear that. So we always start with Om Ganana Am Twa Ganapatigam Avamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspada Anashranvannodivesi Dasadanam Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha. This is the entire rig or mantra for Ganapati. We use this to do Dhyana Avahana of Ganapati, Pillayar in Tamil, Vigneshwara. And so we start with the chant before we start the puja or before we start a class. The reason is very simple. When we get down to doing a puja or chanting, we are expected to do perfect chanting. Chanting the way it was originally handed over to us by the Rishi Munis. Originally, there was no codification. Samaveda, Rigveda, Atharvaveda, and all that. It was a whole bunch of Vedic knowledge that we got. It was Veda Vyasa who codified because he saw all of that knowledge was getting lost from one yuga to the other yuga. He said, okay, let me just codify it, classify it. He called the Saptarishis and divided it amongst all of them, saying that you need to be the keeper of this knowledge and start training. Correct? So you will be shocked, and I will go into the details of that in the future classes. The kind of procedures that they have laid out to ensure there is no variations. Oh, this is the Telugu version of Ganapati Authorization. This is the Gujarati version of There is no scope. So for someone to say, I have learned it and I can chant Vedam, you have to go through a very rigorous process of learning, absorbing, practicing, and then delivering. So knowledge is not, Kumar said this, I've heard this, and I think this is what it is. There is no scope for thinking. Here, this is the command and control domain. Whatever the rishis gave us is exactly what we have to do, reproduce. No questions asked. Some people say it is programming. I don't appreciate the term. And there is a reason for that. Because in our system, Nadam has got the status of God. Saiji, koncham camera both you and Bhuvana. And I have a problem. I don't know whether it's my weakness. Whenever I see somebody like this in a camera, I tend to take my neck up and it pains. Same thing with Arshaji also. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's easy to connect. I'm sorry for that. So Nada or Nadam is given the status of God. I am sure all of you understand what is Nadam, right? You can be unmuting and interactive, no problem.
You're talking about the sound, right?
Correct. Any idea why we give the status of God?
That's the vibration that comes with chanting.
Okay, but why status of God?
The one sound.
Five senses.
See how many random answers we have got.
One of the five senses.
Okay, it's good. Good attempt. And don't feel shy to give answers which are wrong or irrelevant. It's okay. I've also done that and I've learned it. I've been corrected. That's how we learn. And when I teach, I also learn. It's not a one-way street.
Okay, it's what I understand is see, the whole thing is about breath. So the sound also is not going to, that is what actually turns when you take that breath, that you have a particular gland which will convert it to sound. So if you don't have a rhythm, proper breath sound. So sound, if it's not there, there's communication is like, that's one of the main things. So I'm just thinking
Okay.
it has a
You
connection.
have come very close to the answer. Not far off, very close. Let me put the focus so that you all wake up. Why we say water is Varuna Bhagavan, Vayu Bhagavan? Humans, mortal humans like us, who literally haven't spent adequate time, I'm speaking of myself, to know why we are born as a human, what is the system around us, take our human life for granted and do nothing. We are born and we die. Thank you so much. We think we have done a great job, but we are recycled again and again. Purushas, Mahapurushas who have really born with a reason and purpose, they take it seriously. What am I supposed to do for moksha? They take everything that is given to them far more seriously, respect it. So, we all human beings are born with the equal opportunity, and we are told you are a human being, the lucky one, amongst gazillion other organisms that are out there. So, you have earned your spot as a human being with the supreme skills that we all are arrogant about. At the same time, you are supposed to use all this talent and skill and opportunity to understand everything around you, respect it, take advantage, connect the dots, understand the system, and work towards your moksha. There is no harm being selfish. I am not responsible for Anu's moksha or Harshaji's moksha. I am responsible for my moksha. Nobody is going to do it for me. I have to do it for myself. Likewise, you have to do it for yourself. To achieve that, you got to respect everything around you. Understand the system, that you're part of the system. You are not something outside. So, to be able to do that, you need to understand what the system is. To understand the system, you have to study, hear, learn, listen, and practice it. Believe and practice it. So, coming back to Nada, we give all of these status of God because unless you put the fear of God, we human beings try to act smart. I know. Don't teach me. I know. That I know is so loosely used that you start experimenting in the name of freedom of speech, freedom of expression, innovation. We are too smart to put a lot of labels and terminologies around us to explain and justify why we are messing things up. Instead of working so hard, you put your hard work, understand what is given to you in a platter. And I'm spending so much time on the Nadam for a significant amount of reason. The point I'm trying to drive home is if I'm speaking like this, you're listening. When I'm chanting, Bhadram Karne Vishnuyama Devaha, it sounds good. Imagine I increase the decibel level and the frequency to 18,000, 26,000 hertz at 9.5 Shruti. Any marks for guessing what you will do?
I
That's it.
think beyond a certain decibel, we are not able to hear, right? Or maybe it's a certain decibel where it's just too much to bear or something.
I'm glad you picked it up. That brings us to one more level of responsibility. Don't roam around saying that there is no problem. What is the problem? Imagine somebody is creating a frequency that you don't hear. So if you don't hear, you don't recognize. You are in your own world. But the damage is happening to your eardrum. You are not able to recognize the sound level, but that frequency exists. Right? So back to the topic. If sound delivered at manageable levels, it's good. If sound distorted, becomes cacophony and destructive. So it's not like I don't care. You want to scream, you scream. After a while, it will impact you. A live example: when I was young in Mumbai, it used to be Ganpati festival contest 9 days. The contest is my loudspeaker is the biggest of yours. Everybody will try to down each other. The government thought it is a smart move to put a policeman in the chowk. Chowk means the, I don't know what you say in Tamil. Chauraya or chowk, the crossroad. So he was
Intersection.
intersection. So he was sitting with a rifle there with a chair, and four, five loudspeakers from different societies blaring at the top of their voice. Suddenly, he picked up his rifle and shot all the people around him. Nobody knew why. People who understand physics knew exactly what was happening. So that noise or cacophony can drive people to that limits. Another example which I saw, which I liked on YouTube, is a person had put a champagne flute in a lab on a table, closed the door, started putting music through the speaker system. Good music, everybody was enjoying. Slowly, he raised the music, changed the whole tone, changed the harmonics. Within a matter of seconds, the champagne flute was absolutely blown into pieces. Nobody touched it, nobody hammered it. The sound inside, even if there are some good harmonics, if you are enclosed in a room, those sound waves go and hit and come back, bounce back. And how they intersect with each other, what is the net result of the harmonics, you don't know unless you are a science student. So even if individually you are at the same frequency, everything, if you have another sound coming in at the same frequency, the amplitude doubles up. So simple, without going into too much of physics class, higher the graph, higher the energy. Higher the energy is going to be destructive for you beyond your tolerance level. So you take sound seriously. So as much as these things are very powerful, if you don't manage it properly, they can be destructive. So chanting Vedam, Rik is all extraordinary amount of advanced harmonics that is given to you in a platter. Either you sit down, do research, do the wave analysis, get into a PhD into that topic, and then perfect it. Or the easiest form is Guru Parampara. Somebody is there to tell you, yeah, Yaswara is okay, not okay. Don't you think that's an easier option? Right? So, bottom line, moment we say something is God, we have the fear that we will not mess around with it. That is why we have so many gods. So, Nada is one of the primary this thing. And back to why we start with Gananantwa. Whenever we set out to start something good, you will always have negative forces attacking you, trying to disrupt you, trying to get you, stop you from getting into that good club. The negative forces, negative energies would like to be in their company because they feel insecure if somebody goes from that camp to this camp. And you must have seen it in many movies and serials. The sages will all do the homa and they need somebody like Rama and Lakshmana to, with a bow and arrow, to keep killing the asuras because they'll throw water, they'll distract you, they'll do everything. Correct? So we don't want any obstacle. So obstacle in Sanskritam is Vignam. Nirvignam is no obstacle. And the God that helps us in achieving that is Lord Vigneshwara. So we always salute, butter, and say, Lord Vigneshwara, I have bowed in front of you. Please take care of me, that there are no obstacles. Cheapest, because we can't get Lord Rama and Lakshmana to protect us all the time. We'll say, you please do the job for me. So we start with that. The second part is, in our system, I have seen the most detailed contract ever in my life. All of you must have worked in some form and shape for on contracts. Home contract, mortgage, rent, EMI, automobile contract, etc., etc. There is nothing more detailed than our Sankalpam. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the term Sankalpam. Anybody can say what it starts with?
Namopata.
Then?
Kshetwara. Parameshwara Prityat.
Right? That is all to say Parameshwara happy, Vishnu is happy, everybody is happy. Great. Thank you so much. I pay my respect to you. But then into the main Sankalpa, you start with Shubhe Shobhane Muhurte Adya Brahmanaha Dvitiya Parardhe Shvetavaraha Kalpe. That means we have everything defined, named, identified. This whole cosmos, the cycle of evolution and dissolution is all documented. So one kalpa is one day of Brahma. One night of Brahma is all dissolution. Everything will collapse. So, in one kalpa, there are so many kalpas which are already documented. We are in Shweta Varaha kalpa right now. In one kalpa, there are 14 Manus. Manu and Antara. Antara is the duration. So, it combined, it becomes Manvantara. We are in the 7th Manu, which is the Vaivaswata. That is the name of the Manu. Manu is the head for that Mahayuga. Okay? So, the 4 yugas that constitute one Mahayuga are Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So, we are in Shvetavaraha Kalpe, in which we are in Vaivaswata Manvantare, Ashtavimshatidame, Kali Yuge. So, in Vaivaswata Manvantara, we are in Kali Yuga, the 4th one. And we frequently keep saying, oh, yeah, all this nonsense will happen around us because we are in Kali Yuga. I'm going to deliver a bad news to all of you. Guess what? Any guess? The Kali Yuga has just started. So, though we are in Dvitiya Parardhe of Shvetavaraha Kalpe, Ashtavimshatitime Vaivaswata Manvantare, Kali Yuge, Prathame Pade. We are in the first quarter of the Kali Yuga. Only 5,000 years have gone. There are probably, if I'm not mistaken, 167,000 years still pending. So it's not going to go away pretty soon. Right? So if in the beginning itself we are scared of what we are seeing, you can imagine what will be there by the end of it. One of the devotees asked Mahapariva, what will happen to Vedam at the end of all these things? Don't you think it will be chaos? He said, think positive. At the end of Kali Yuga, I can still see in this village one Brahmana chanting Vedam. I am happy about it. Right? So we say Prathame Pade, and then we come to, in the US, we say Krauncha Dvipe. Krauncha is the word for eagle. Krauncha Dvipe. For those of you who are learning Sri Vidya, I don't have to lecture deep into it. Dvipa is a concentric pair of land. And there are concentric pair of land followed by ocean, again land, again ocean. Can anybody say this is around what?
What did you say? Crown something? Sorry.
Krauncha is Sanskrit word for eagle.
Eagle.
Eagle, eagle. US is all eagle, right? So, Krauncha Dvipe, Ramanaka Varshe. We have our calendar computed forever, as long as there is life. So, we are in the Ramanaka Varshe. Aindra Khandayam. In that concentric mass of land, we are in America, not Canada, not Mexico. So, Aindra Khandayam. So, we are getting down to that geo coordinate. Then we will go to what Tithi, what Nakshatram, what Yogam, what Karanam, what day, Vasaraha, Induvasara Yuktayam. We say so much to tell where we are sitting and doing the puja. Then you do full KYC. Bharadwaja Gotrodbhavasya, Sadavishin Kshatriya Kumbharashav Jatasya, Venkata Subramanya Sharmanaha, Mama. And if you want to include everybody as part of your credit or debit, you say Mama Dharma Patni Asya, Mama Jeshta Kumaryam, blah, 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 blah. That is just the beginning of the Sankalpam. Then you say, what is it that you're going to do? Why? Kshemasthairia, Veer, Vijay, Ayurarogya, Aishwarya. We were very greedy. Give me that, give me this, everything. So I am doing it for all of this. Then we will come to what we are planning to do. Ekavara Rudrabhishekena or Ekadashavara Rudrabhishekena. By yourself or with others. Anyonya Sahayena. It is crystal clear. There is no ambiguity. So when you do all that stuff, finally you're saying Adya Karishye. Karma Karishye. Karma means I'm going to do it. Karishye. You don't start a puja without doing all this. Point is, take it very seriously. Do all of this stuff before you get up and go. Do you think any one of you would dare to do a Sankalpam and just say, okay, forget it now, I've got a serial to watch, I'll get up and go? I don't think so. I'm yet to see one person, even if he's a disbeliever, he'll follow. So the fear of God helps us. So Nadam has been given the status of God because we have to treat it with responsibility, care, and utilize all of these powerful tools and resources in the way it is intended to be. So when somebody says you follow military discipline because you've been given a complex tool and don't misuse it or experiment with it without knowledge, because not only you're going to hurt yourself, you'll hurt many other people. It is not called programming, it is called a disciplined way of life. So Vedic chanting, there are 16 methods of chanting. What we will stick to is the kindergarten level. Samhita is what it is called as. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Samhita. Om Ganana Am Tva Ganapati Havamehe Samhita. The highest level is Ghanam. Om Ganana Am Tva Tva Ganana Am Tva Ganapatikam Tva Ganapatikam. ABBC, BC, AB, ABDC. That pattern has to be followed. And you have to chant the whole Vedam, entire Vedam in that form. It is because you have to get that perfection. There is no scope for, I'm almost correct. Yeah, I know. No. If somebody tells you you're wrong, you're wrong. Take it with all humility, correct it. There is no scope for variation. So when everybody sit down together, you want all those harmonics, complex harmonics that is there in the Veda to follow the sync. So if you have 100 Vaidikas, 200 Vaidikas, it will all sound like one voice. They may come from different schools, but they will learn it in the same way. So there are nuances of chanting, where you pause, where you take a breath, where you put the swaras. So some people will say, Badram Karne Veshruniyama Devaha, Badram Pashe Makshabhirijatraha. You cannot chant like this. There is only one way. You have to work hard, get it, and chant it for all the reasons that I explained. So if that is your responsibility, then the crux is you got to be mentally and physically fit to be able to do that, to learn and to be able to deliver. So if you're running late to the class, oh, it's already started, I have to rush. You rush through the stairs or rush through the rooms from one room to another room. Yeah, panting. Oh, no, oh, I've got asthma, I've got allergy. Sorry, don't chant. All of these things are primarily to ensure that you follow the discipline. Which is why if you take boys who have got Upanayam done, you all say pranayam, start with pranayam. Do this. You hit in the temple to keep your memory, mental capacities and resources intact. Respiratory intact. So if your breath is under control, your pulse will be under control. If both are under control, your swaras will fall in the right place at the right time. Those of you who are learning Vedas from me, you have seen me struggle with allergy. I couldn't even chant properly. I used to stop. I used to refer book. I cannot remember. So I take recourse to PDF. But that is not the best solution because I'm going to lose some of my energy and focus in reading. Whereas if it comes memorized, it will come naturally and fluently at the right speed at the right time. So move away from reading or looking at something or writing it. Memorize, chant it by heart. That is the perfect way of doing it. So when we are putting so much of condition, so much of scary net around it, what is the next thing that we must have? We have taken care of no obstacle. What is the next thing we need to take care of?
Pray to Saraswati.
Correct. Any reason why?
The goddess of learning.
One part. More importantly, more specifically, as I said, right? If Arunanathan is one person, she'll also be called by mother, as mother by somebody, sister by somebody, daughter by somebody.
Speech also.
Correct. So in this context, it is Vak Devi. Vak means diction, goddess of diction. Those who ask a question, what is the point of chanting all these mantras when we are in 2022? You must spend more time in science and lab and research, etc. We have scientists on this call. The biggest science, engineering, metallurgy is all there in Vedam. It's not some meaningless chant of mantras. Reason I'm saying that is the most clear definition of how we produce that sound in the form of an akshara or a word is defined only in our system. I'm yet to see that in any scientific journal to that level of depth and clarity. Can anybody say what I'm alluding to? Nope. We talk so fast, so many words. Each word contains so many letters. We apply the rule of grammar. Oh, this is a pulling, striling, blah, blah, blah. He, she, it, grammar, Brennan Martin. Everything is coming in force. So it's not difficult for us to internalize complex things and deliver. We are capable. When we take things for granted, we fail. When we take it seriously, we expand our capacity. The beauty is, where is this coming from? All of a sudden, some sound is coming from your system. How? Do a Google on something called Para Pashyanti and Vaikhari. So, anybody heard of those terms? No.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, no?
Shanti and Vaikhari.
Yeah. The conceptualization happens here in this part of the body, then it takes shape here, it becomes sound here from the kantha. And those things are getting delivered there. So when it gets delivered from here, we say the tongue movement has to be perfect. The brain sends a signal, but if the tongue doesn't cooperate, it'll be done, you're finished. So all your arrogance will come crashing down, right? So please bless me, Vagdevi. You better Vagdevi, you bow in front of her and say, please. Every time I want to chant, I will tell you. So we say with Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Bhirvajini Vati. First line of Saraswati Suktam. We will learn Saraswati Suktam also. Some people say Vagdevyai Namaha or Maha Saraswatyai Namaha. So we're taking care of no obstacles, we're taking care of diction. All bribing, buttering is done. Now what is missing?
Guru.
Correct.
Guru, yeah.
Why Guru is important?
Guru is through him is what we learn.
Exactly. The source and fountain of knowledge. Oh, no, I don't need a guru. I've got internet access, FiOS. I've got a computer with 64 GB RAM. I'm an IT expert, right? Biggest misconception. Oh, no, I've got the greatest CD player. I can buy CD. You can never learn from any of these things. Find one CD that will give you the script, what I've given you today, and ability to absorb, interact. I will stop this speech. There is no substitute than learning thing from a guru, because that guru will understand your challenges, your mistakes, and correct it and ensure that all of you after some time are at the same level. Because each one of you will have a different learning curve. So the person who's making a CD will not understand that. That is more of I'm dumping what I know. Learning is your problem. Have you ever seen a CD correcting you back? No. That is the first problem. Second problem. My agenda is I'm a Sivakumar Rajagopalan Iyer. I can add whatever I want to mislead people. Technically, I'm a Christian or some other religion, some other faith. I want to propagate all misinformation to you. I can write blogs and blogs and blogs. I can be funded. Anything can happen. So you pick up that article and say, "Oh, I am an expert because I've read everything in and out from the internet search." God bless you. Whereas we rely on a system called Guru Parampara. Parampara means it's not just me, it's my Guru and my Guru's Guru. We pay our gratitude to at least three levels of Guru: Guru, Paramaguru, Parameshti Guru. The reason is without them, we all will not be sitting like this in front of each other. You will not be learning from me. I would not have been able to teach you unless I learned from somebody. So, sense of gratitude is fundamental in our system. Keeping that humility, no matter how much you think you know, though you may be just aware of certain things, you would have heard some of those terms. That is, doesn't mean it is knowledge. Awareness to expertise to a level where you can teach somebody, it's a huge responsibility. So, before you set out to teach, you must be certified by somebody to say, yes, you're good enough to be teaching something. So when I'm teaching Devi Mahatmyam, my guru told me, yes, you are qualified and fit enough to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it on my own. So humility is important, making sure that what you have learned and what you're teaching is correct. And you have the qualities to teach. You can be a good chanter, doesn't mean you're a good teacher. So you need to understand the whole system behind it instead of just saying, I can read this PDF better than somebody. So I'm a good teacher. Doesn't make sense. Nuances of chanting when I get into the Vedas and pause, etc., I will explain it. In Devi Mahatmyam, I do a lot, but in the context of Vedic chanting, I'll explain it. And you will be amazed at the system because, bottom line, keep that waveform in your head. I need to get the waveform the way it is intended to be. That's your responsibility. So, where to pause, where to do what, etc., is very important. So, we pay our obeisance to our Guru by chanting what?
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu.
Can you slow down and spell it one by one slowly?
Guru Brahma.
No, spell that. Even that first 2-3 words is good enough.
Guru
Correct.
Brahma.
Those who have been chanting as Guru Brahma, you're missing an R. So if you don't even know the system, you will never realize that she taught you as Guru, you heard Guru, and you have been chanting Guru. Then you will teach somebody as Guru. We don't need to be Sanskrit experts, but we need to understand why that R is important. Sanskrit is the only language where you can write a whole book in one word. You can break it down to the lowest derivative of a letter. So Gu is ig plus U. The vowel U gets attached to ig, which is the root form of the akshara. Makes it Gu. So when you do that, there are rules. Overall, I think I've told this many a times. There are only 5,500 rules in Sanskrit that you have to memorize. Not only memorize, apply it to be an expert in Sanskrit. Of which there is a section called Visarga, colon, 2 dots. Whenever you see colon, individually, if you say bhuhu, bhu with 2 colons is bhuhu, bhuva colon bhuvaha, suva colon suvaha. 3 different words. I can combine this into one word. Anybody knows how to combine? Bhur bhuvas suvaha. So why it is ir, why it is is? One of the 85 rules apply. What follows the colon, you apply that rule. So if colon is followed by bhu, the rule is ir. So you say bhur. Bhuvaha, colon followed by is, which is suvaha is. It becomes is. So that is why it is bhuvas suvaha. Suvaha followed by om, a, is again ir. So ir plus o becomes ro. So bhuhu, bhuvaha, suvaha, om, iti, bandhaha. If that is what you want to chant, you will say bhur, bhuvas, suva, rom, ir plus o becomes rom, rom, im plus e becomes mi, romiti, bandhaha. I don't want to go too much into grammar, but I hope you understand what you need to know at least to know whether you're chanting it right or wrong, right? So, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwarah, Gurus Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Guruve Sarvalokanam Bhishaje Bhavaroginam, Nidaye Sarva Vidyanam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha, Asmin Guru Charanaravinda Namaha. When you talk of Guru and God, you need to understand, accept the concept of total surrender. If that is a problem, then Goddess Saraswati will say, I have a problem with you. See you, bye bye. Get back to you later. Because nothing is going to go in. You put your ego as a big wall in front of you, person willing to teach you will stop, slow down. Goddess Saraswati will say, thank you so much. Surrender is the fundamental thing. So, in front of a guru, you put your obeisance, express your gratitude over and over again, because the knowledge that you get will shape your life, will give you the path towards attaining God. If that is such a valuable, priceless piece of thing, you need to take it very seriously. So, when you fall at the feet of somebody, you don't lower your standard or your dignity, you actually increase it. And I will refer this Patima Sutram one more time. We'll get into what is a Sutram, but catch the term Patima Sutram. Don't rely too much on that. Oh, why? How can I do namaskar to you? You are younger to me. It is not about age. It is not about gender. It is about the role. So, if somebody is teaching you, somebody is giving you the knowledge, you put your obeisance and gratitude to that person by falling at that person's feet in that context. Outside of that context, you go by age, because it is assumed that somebody has spent so many years in this planet would be knowledgeable, would be mature, experienced, valuable. So if the person says, I'm 85 years old, but I've been sitting in my cot right from childhood, reading newspapers, watching TV, I know nothing, I learned nothing, I've taught nothing, I've done nothing good in life. For the sake of satisfying that person, you can bow your head. Nothing is going to happen. You're not going to get anything back. So it is not age as a number that is important. It is you pay obeisance to the value of what you're talking about. You respect it, preserve it, because these are resources that you need to have. You cannot take it for granted and just miss it. In any case, if we get disconnected, we will continue for 5 or 10 minutes more because we started late, and then we will wrap it up. So we pay obeisance to the guru or the role. Those of you who have attended all my puja, you would see in the beginning of a puja there is something called anugya. Anugya means permission. You take permission from the sadas, the sabha, or the brahmanas or elders. Please bless me that I should be qualified enough and good enough in mental and physical state to complete what I have undertaken. So I will do namaskara with coconut in front of them. They will put akshata on me. The same people, men or women, most of them will do namaskar to me because I am teaching them a lot of stuff. I'm their guru. So you don't get confused. Why are you doing namaskar to them? Why are they doing namaskar to you? It is the role and context. So we start with Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo. We go all the way up to Dakshinamurti and say thank you so much. Respect the Guru Parampara. The day it is broken, it will be mayhem. A little bit of piece of information. When we say Namaha, we fold our hand like this and we do it. Any input from anybody as to what it is and why this is important?
Surrender.
Surrender, but also what is it that I'm doing? This thing is called a mudra. Mudra is a world of science in its own. It's a science of energy, science of power, science of tool. This is very powerful. So don't assume I'm just folding my hand like this, like this. It's okay. They mean a lot. If I point a finger like this at you, you better watch out. I may be delivering energy to you, which could be beneficial to you or destructive to you. So we do this mudra. There are 4 types of positions that you use for different context. That is a separate topic. It could be an hour or 2 hours on that. Anytime you talk about devatas, you keep it close to your heart. If you want to be more technical, you can fold your thumb a little like this. I hope you can see it. So the sharp part of the thumb can touch your heart, press against your heart. And again, people heart means some people go to the left, some people go to the right. Scientifically, your heart is right at the middle of your body, the sternum below the soft tissue there. So you touch it there. And when you're praying to the Guru, the hand has to go up above your head. And you fall and surrender. Men, Sashtanga Namaskara, which is Sashta Anga, touching the ground. Woman, Panchanga Namaskara. Again, if you are interested in knowing why, we will talk about it later. That surrender is the first thing you start with. If you want to be a little bit more technical, boys who have undergone Upanayana, when they do Namaskara to their mother, father, it is twice. Two Namaskaras, not one. When you do Namaskara to the Guru, it is four Namaskaras. It is important to know this subtle, important piece of information so that you're technically as correct as possible. If you're not a PhD, at least you know that you're doing, why you're doing, what you're doing, when you're doing, right?
So is that only for the Upanayana people, or even like people like us who do for parents, you do it twice?
I have not been told by somebody, but I consider Mantropadesham is equal to what we get in the time of Upanayana, because Upanayana means we get Upadesham at that time, Gayatri Upadesham. So when you get Mantropadesham, you are considered to get a rebirth. The first time is when physically she delivers you. Second time is when you get the Mantropadesham. So there's no harm in considering yourself that you have been initiated, so you can do twice. No harm. Right? In any way, if you do one extra, you're doing it to your parents only, nobody else. There's no harm. Right? So these are all very serious concepts, important concepts, foundational concepts. If you understand and respect all these things, the journey is fun. So come back to Akshara. Sanskritam has got clearly defined aksharas as vowels, consonants. It has been classified into hard consonant, soft consonant. It has gone into the detailed scientific specification of how each akshara has to be delivered. Ha! There is a paragraph written. The sound should come from your nabhi. It should come through the thing. The tongue should be rolled, touched here, and then delivered. So please learn that. I've conducted a 9-week class on that. There is a script, there's an audio file. Keep listening. Don't come back and say, in Gujarati we say Asok Sa. So I will chant like Sa only. It won't work. In Tamil it is Magesh. No, it is Mahesh. Keep our Tamil, Telugu, Maheswara. No, it is Maheshwara. Each native language has got some shortfall. There's no harm in admitting it and say we are learning all these things. We will learn how it has to be pronounced. And Harshaben, there are people. Hemalata ji one is one. I think Aruna ji will remember that person in the DM 2020 class. Live in front of 120 people, I corrected her and I brought her up to speed. She still remembers that and thanks me for that. Because she must have gone to many places where people are so, oh, your chanting is not good, not good, not good. It's easy to tell people what you're not good at. It takes guts and commitment to say, here is where you are, and you're sure you can go here, but this is the 4 steps that you need to follow to be able to reach that point. And my priority and choice is the latter. Many of my students are being rejected somewhere else, and that is why they join here. So don't get frustrated. Don't look at Arunaji and say, oh, she chants well, I'm not there. Don't compare. All 5 fingers are not same. She must have learned for the last 10 years, so she's ahead of you. You're starting now, no matter what. It is good. You made a good start. Increase your speed and focus, practice, you will reach there. No comparison. So one person need not judge the other person. I'm a good chanter than her and him and blah, blah, blah. There is a person who still stutters in my Veda class after 5.5 years of learning. I am patient. And you can see improvement. Yeah, it has taken 5.5 years. So be it. So sitting here in this chair is also a lot of responsibility. So don't judge me saying that, oh, he corrects me, but he's not correcting somebody else. Again, sensitivity. Some people will take criticism easily, some people will take it tough. And I have to understand that and give input in a personalized manner. But the responsibility doesn't change. Everybody will be responsible to learn it the right way. And Vedic learning will take time. Have patience. Once you get the gist of it, it's like learning the cycle riding. You'll keep on falling, getting hurt, putting band-aid. Suddenly one day that cycle will start going straight. That's the end of it. For the rest of your life, you have learned it. Swimming, same thing. Bike riding, it is also the same way. Provided all this 1 hour of talk that I gave, you take it seriously and say, I'm going to apply this every time I get to chanting or doing puja. So, Bhadram, Bha is a Mahaprana. Bha. Drum, soft. So, don't say drum. It is drum. Damayanti da. This is important. Break it down. Don't be in a rush to chant. Oh, Kumar chants at this speed. Yeah, I can chant. And I chanted in Ved Mandir just 2 days ago. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Namaste Rudramanyo Uto Deshavena Namaste Dhanune Bahubhya Vasudhe Nama Yat Isha Shivatama Shivam Babhuvate Dano Shivasharabhya Yat Vataya No Rudramadaya Yate. Oh, he did it, so I'm going to do it. No, it took me 40 years to do that. So have that patience. Don't compare, don't compete. Keep it slow until you master. Automatically, the speed will come. Please take it seriously, because the more you keep speeding up and making mistakes, I'm going to stop you and you'll get frustrated. Because the harmonics are important, you cannot disrupt the harmonics in Vedam. So if you're chanting a plain shloka, it doesn't matter. Means there again you have to be responsible with matra, but you don't have the additional complexity of swaras. So when I talk about matra, a good concept is important. We have been taught the MK system, FPS system in physics, where second is the unit of measurement for time. We don't recognize it and respect it. In the morning class, I had the luxury of going into the detail. I won't take that much time now. You can replay the morning class video. What are the disadvantages of that system? How that system works? If you go to the depth of it, you'll go crazy. Because your needle in your clock can go faster than the needle in Anu's clock. How do you say who's right? They all get hierarchically calibrated to a center lab in France. And you have to just believe that lab in France is the perfect one. Then people move to nuclear clock. It's still under experimentation. For us, it is simple. Tala. In Veda, it is called matra. A is one matra. Ah, two matra, twice the time. So why can't you say it in seconds, 1 second, half second? The problem is, Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. What I'm talking about is Na is one matra, Mo is two matra, Dhirgam. Hrasvam is short, Dhirgam is long. It is just a proportional duration. If you give half a second to Na, you need to give 1 second to Ma. But if my tempo is higher and I'm delivering Na in quarter second, I will take only half a second for Ma. Are you getting what I'm saying? So take the learning of second out of your head. It is a blink of an eye or a tap of a finger when you're sitting. Whatever is the comfort factor for you. That has to be consistent. So if I'm supposed to be a Vedic scholar, I'm expected to chant 16 hours in a day. So my energy level in the morning should be the same as late night 10:30. I cannot say I'm tired, so my matra will change. Then don't get into this business. Wrong. Because your responsibility doesn't change because you're tired. Right? So understand the concept of matra. So when I say Bhadram Karne Bhish, Rane is two matra. Bhi is one, he is one, so I'm going fast. Bish, Shruno, Ya two, Ma one, De two, Va two, Ha one. That is why it is going up and down. And you need to internalize this. It will not come by just listening once. You got to keep listening it over and over and over again, and it is going to go into your subconscious system. That is when it will come naturally to you when you want to deliver. So, matra we talked. Swaras, I will quickly say, and we will continue on the swara in the next class. In Krishna Yajurveda, we are talking of mainly, predominantly four swaras. Any akshara that's got underline is called anudata. No line notation is udata. A vertical line is called swarita. a double vertical line is called Dhirga Swarita. I have put a screenshot in the group. You will see that, a sample of that. So any example anybody can give for Dhirga Swarita except Ram Swami, because he's learning, I know it. Any mantra that you have been chanting or you know with Dhirga Swarita. त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्गारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्. You keep going. Then Mrityave Swaha. That Swaha is Dhirga Swarita. Got it? So these are the fundamentals. We'll go into the swaras and depth of swaras and examples, and we will do a more interactive session next time. But to summarize, we talked about the Shanti Mantras in the beginning, ending, the basics of our system, importance of waves, waveform, harmonics, sound as God, treat it responsibly, pay attention, mental, physical fitness when you start, buttering and saying obeisance to all the people in that same order or hierarchy, which is why we do Dhyana Shloka before every class or every puja. Importance of Sankalpam, the most detailed coordinates. Something that I covered in the morning, I can cover it in the next class for you, is about why that nada is very important, why Om is important, why Om is called Pranavam, and what is the connection between Om and us. So why when somebody chants Om, you start vibrating or you start resonating. We will talk about that a little bit more in the next class. But this is the overall summary. Quickly give me a feedback whether it was useful, scary, boring.
Very useful. Thank you.
Okay. Not scary. Okay, because I'm going to keep breaking this up and keep periodically revising it and repeating it, so you're not going to miss anything. However, you can do some good work by subscribing to my YouTube channel. Use the YouTube video to play it over and over again. You can use the red slider to go back and forth, pause, replay, take notes. No, do as many times as you want. The more views you do, the better status and respect Google will give me, which means I will be able to share more and more videos and shlokas with you. And it will help you maintain the status also. And you can spread this word for this class to any of your friends, neighbors, etc. that can benefit from it, because I'm not sure whether I'm going to start another batch like this. Sai Sudhakar is also significantly responsible for this. She's been after me persistently. And same thing with Sonal ji, also from UK. So after this Swara class, etc., which will be the next class, we will get into the depth of Ganapati Atharva Sirsham. Then we will go to quickly Mandokya Upanishad, because that was a demand. So you may say why we are jumping here and there, because I want to address those requirements straight away before we go into other Suktams and Upanishads. Fair enough?
Yeah.
And we will teach some small shlokas one by one. And at the end of it, we'll get into Archana, Sashtotram, Panchakam, everything. Whatever I know, I can keep dumping it. It is for you to learn and practice it, or say, enough, I'm bored, I'm quitting the class. Okay, wa?
Yeah.
Great. So the current class is available on YouTube as a video already.